tonight and Wednesday, mostly cloudy. Lows in the upper 30s, around 50. The wind was east at 3. The pressure was 30.1.
For stealing tips from delivery drivers. Amazon is currently fighting a unionization campaign in Bessemer, Alabama, by confronting warehouse workers with anti-labor messages in the bathroom stalls. And at another troublesome warehouse in Chicago, the entire facility was shut down, and workers were told they could stay on if they agreed to a new warehouse and a 10-hour overnight shift called a mega cycle. I say that Bezos' departure was intended to overshadow these stories, except that knuckling under workers, partners, sellers on its website, competitors, governments, and entire industries has been his modus operandi for the last 27 years. That's the legacy of a winner-take-all executive and a winner-take-all economy whose desire to take a cut of every economic transaction.
Government!
The best parting gift for Bezos and for all of us would be the breakup of the behemoth he built.
Yeah, just
Megan McArdle, it's your soapbox.
Stop complaining that the vaccine program doesn't look like some imaginary perfect program that you designed in your head.
Yeah, we need to convince these black people
prioritize
to
essential
stop
workers or
questioning
not
us.
vaccinate people who've already had COVID or in some other way be superior to what's actually happening. On the ground, administrative overhead matters. If we tried to do all of this exquisite targeting, it would take forever and cost 8 times as much. Leave authorities the leeway they need to get as many people as possible vaccinated as fast as possible without letting vaccines rot away in freezers or
they've done it that way in the 30s and 40s.
And then couldn't find exactly the perfect person to vaccinate. The most important thing we can do now is get shots in arms, and that is what we should be focused on, not who's getting the shots.
And kerosene, so
For
no
my
one
right,
would eat it.
Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who before her election made social media posts to endorse killing public officials, who also endorsed QAnon and 9/11 truth conspiracy theories, has been removed from her seats on the Budget and Education Committees. 11 House Republicans joined every Democrat in their vote to remove her. Now, Republicans who voted not to remove actually had a fairly valid point. The majority party isn't supposed to decide who the minority party puts on committees, and who knows what could be done with this in the future. They say
wait a second, is that what was about to happen?
To make these decisions about who is too crazy to sit on a committee.
And
that's fair,
a lot of people think they do.
Minority party leadership? Where were the Republicans?
They couldn't even tell you for sure who the president
intervene in this primary like they could have to try to prevent this coup from getting elected to the House, and they didn't decide on their own to remove her from this committee. In fact, Kevin McCarthy, who is apparently made of a giant bowl of gelatin, came up with this idea where he came to the Democrats and said, well, what if we removed her from only one committee? Traditional thing, trying to make as few people happy as possible. Ultimately, yes, it's supposed to be up to the parties themselves to enforce boundaries and guardrails and keep the craziest people out of politics away from levers of power. You did see efforts in the Republican Party to keep Steve King, the former white nationalist congressman from Iowa, off of committees and ultimately out of the Congress. But it has become so integral to the Republican Party's coalition, these nuts and conspiracy theorists and extremists, that they didn't feel in a good position to enforce this, and so it fell to the House as a whole. That was unfortunate.
Ram Winter doesn't stand a chance of that. With big discounts on Ram trucks. So, that's a no. Get 20% off MSRP with up to $12,950 in total discounts.
Yeah, but your MSRP is through the roof
discounts
anyway.
that big, doesn't matter what you call it. Plus $3,000 in loyalty cash for select owners. Okay.
96.7, 740, 96.7. Well, it's all going to be bullshit for the next.
High pressure will build in from the northwest. This day I dread, bitch gave me head, see my strap, they fled. Hey, I know what they said, I don't be shit when I was in the ditch. Now pussy, I'm rich, they low.
Who's this fucking guy? Why is he in my rolling paper sack?
Awesome shit,
Put him in
talk
a
shit,
roll
get hit, they
package.
flunk, I'm in it. I keep my stick, I let it
like a
flick,
blood
just like
stain
a
on the
dick. I'm
wall.
in his house like old Saint Nick, she want my dick, she Hey.
Oh, I should have waited a second. The little alarm's about to go off in it.
Batman.
Maybe it won't. Because he keeps deciding I don't want alarms till 1 in the morning on Sundays. So I don't know what the deal is with that. That's an odd default to have.
YG back from the tracks and the crack shit, scratch on the stack, niggas still. Batman, 20 shoot back. Hey. YG's Batman 2019. Nigga fucking shit. Maybe come back. Or a little down. YG back from the tracks and the crack shit, scratch on the stack. Niggas don't love you, that's a fact. The Mac, no cheese, God bless me, no sneeze. Niggas see me and breeze. Shorty, no shit, tease. Got strapped to the slap, it moving like a stack. Never lack, just rack. Put them in a box, no jack. Roll one deep, never need a pack. Hey. Niggas know me from north to the south. Never need no one, make my own club. Southside, reach your cart, nigga, that's my road. Niggas selling drugs, man, I'm in a drought. They all know what I'm about. Stacking bread, talk shit, catch sleds at the head. Shit's no mess, to the fuck, legs, stay away from the fans on the streets of the bed. Keep butter, I drink, I'm still no sweat. I'm walking dead, this day I dress.
Jimmy Maxon like the name of some type of gangster?
Trying hard to be true, but
bitch running around on you.
Hey, I know they said I don't be shit when I was in the ditch. Now pussy, I'm rich. They low, don't switch. They saw the one bitch. See the flick of the.
The Black Snake.
Me for mayor, taking helicopters down with a little laser. In the cannon, I'm holding big and I fucking mega. Yaga, the liquor for the shots to make you stagger. For my little brother, it's like he loves my partners. Real boy, baby, y'all boss. But this empire is nothing like Russia. These are enemy lines, nobody can cross it. Got 100 shit for rappers and in a battle with brothers, triple six. 4 clips like a bitch's wig fiction. Murder gang sick shit. Got me reading the words as if my victim lip syncs. Kitchen sink murders. Niggas know I'm running through the streets of beef like the hamburger with the burner. No food surfing. Yeah, still M3G repping. Yeah, sitting in the vehicle, plotting on people, taking your prized possession like a reaper. Kneeling with the hammer, call it Tim Tebow. Holding on the hammer, call it Home Depot. Yeah, Mr. Fatal, baby. I'm back with this motherfucking track, y'all. Money is gas, taking the dash, feel like a blast with that on my cash, taking it slow, I'm taking it fast, face on the dash, ripping that ass, fuck with the cats, I don't fuck with them rat, throwing it bad while she busting it back, talking that shit, better watch how you act, doing the game and the place in the set, I know I'm rubbing like the missing link, all my bitches small with a lot of ink, all I really know is I want more bling, money calling me, I keep on chasing, you see me on stage and I'm glowing, you not believe where I'm going, I'm fucking with the speed I'm stroking, son and rappers coaching. Don't fuck with my vibe when I'm smoking. Judging all these rappers by the clothing. Need a role model and a Trojan. Provoking while I'm promoting emotion. Demons in my head, keep on facing them. Smoke the pain away, I can't erase it down. If you roll it up, you better lace it down. Oh yeah, uppers and them downers and I chase it down. Pussy chasing me, I do not chase it down. Catch me online, got the playlist, wanna ride. I got the spacious, I stay lit, fuck the police and the racists. Ride for my homies and I'll never turn, baby. Cremated when I die in a diamond urn, baby. I love some thick thighs, yeah, I never learned, baby. Devil in disguise, but my friends call me Hades. Living up like I'm lucid, in the woods with these druids. Chilling with the humans, getting stupid off these fluids. Rooted in the music, the money is elusive. You say you taking shots, my homies really shooting. Something different. Yeah, I hope you hear the difference. This is not a coincidence, legitimate imprisonment. Your lyrics sounding belligerent, I'm feeling that deliverance. I'm tired of being considerate. Your music is sounding like some gibberish. Everyone's hearing me killing this. I'm the rapper and the instrument. I don't know what you talk about. All my homies is innocent. The leader of the syndicate. This music is my stimulant. All my rhymes are written intricate. I'm feeling this. Listen closely when I'm spitting this. People should consider this.
7 million, or about 12% of Italians, are expected to be fully vaccinated by the end of the year.
Let me fly! My crumbs are heinous. Yo, I killed the beat like I'm a racist. I do it while I'm faded. I'm shameless and I don't need payment. I'm feeling like the greatest. It's time to show my faces. Fear and loath in Las Vegas. Never will they tame us. They hating on this rapper, but they will not claim us. The new school rappers looking brainless. Yo, and all these young kids celebrate.
On the line with our friend Catherine from CKNW. She was actually going through one of our previous shows with us to tell us what we were doing wrong and what we're doing good. Very helpful. And all of a sudden, I get this little notification on my phone. It's my Tesla app saying something's happening with your Tesla. You know, the security's been set off. And then my brain instantly remembers, oh my God, I parked in a tow-away zone at 3 o'clock in the street in front of our studio. If you don't move your car, you're towed. And John
are on that.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was like 3:05. And thank God I had that app to give me that reminder. I was able to run out there and stop him from towing my car.
And you literally ran out.
I know you. We're on like a video call with Catherine. She's like, "What the hell is going on?" And you didn't even know either, right?
No. I assumed because you were going out to the front, you were going to pick up something or something was being dropped off.
Yeah.
There's a dope deal gone wrong.
Making them contagious. I hit you with the latest. I'm dropping all this hot shit like the runs ever heinous. Calling all creators, surrounded by the famous. Big dreams I'm gonna make it one day. Oh God. 666 up on the dash and I say, get the cash. That's all she had to say, y'all. Had me up all night, bad pride. Big dreams I'm gonna make it. Oh God. 666 on the dash and I say.
Speaking of cars that notify you, remember I got rear-ended a little while ago, my new Kia.
Yeah.
Pretty minor accident, but I had to get my bumper replaced. I took it into the body shop, and I kept getting notifications all day that my car was unlocked because they were working on it. I was like, can I snooze these for a little while because they're going to be working on this all day.
Yeah. You know my problem now, though, is
I've
got this Tesla and I'm loving it. And what I love is that it just unlocks with my smartphone because I've paired it with the car. My problem now is when I drive other cars, because when I get in my car, I don't even have to do anything. It just unlocks. I go in and just drive. And when I'm finished, I park the car. I get out.
Drag you over to that car, it'll unlock. Really?
And I just walk away. Everything just locks for me. I can't tell you. So I've got a second car, a Chevy Traverse, like this SUV. I can't tell you how many times now that I get somewhere and I walk away, and the car's still running. And then at the end of the day, I'm like, where are the keys? Because I'm going out to go home. And then I realize, oh my God, I've left the car in a parking lot running all day with the keys in it.
What?
And I don't know why it's still, and we're in kind of a up and coming neighborhood, you know what I mean? Our studio. So you'd think of all places where that car would be gone, that's where it would happen. But somehow by the grace of God,
It's so funny how you get used to the newer technology. Like that's the problem I have with my car too. When I was getting mine replaced,
Mount Albert, we've got a police investigation ongoing, so you may find lanes reduced at Vivian Creek Road at Ridgegate Crescent, so just be mindful of that. Good area to avoid right now as police investigate. 407 ETR would like to thank everyone who continues to help fight COVID-19. Visit 407etr.com/road to recovery to see how they're doing their part. Your next traffic report is at 10:21. Right now, let's get the forecast. Here is Jason Frazier.
Seeing a little bit of cloud cover before midnight. I think it's after midnight that we could see some snow developing. And it's going to be a chilly night as we'll see wind chills anywhere between 15 to about 20 degrees. That's how it will feel. That's not going to be the air temperature. The air temperature tomorrow will reach a high of -4 degrees. And we'll continue to see some flurries and some light snow in the early morning hours. I'm expecting anywhere between a coating to up to 2 centimeters possible. Not a whole lot. I think by the afternoon time, we'll start to see some clearing as well. And then tomorrow night, partly cloudy with a low near -13 degrees. So overnight low tonight, -9 degrees.
And we're just a little bit warmer than that right now in downtown Toronto at -7, but it's feeling like -15 with a few clouds. Pearson International Airport, -8, feeling like -14 with a few clouds as well. Coming up in 60 seconds, we'll take a look at your top stories, followed by sports. 680 News Time, 10:13.
Is puppy paw prints, which breaks my heart into a billion pieces. And they think also little chicken feet pressed into the walls. And the archaeologists are basically saying that these were very treasured animals to them. Obviously, the chickens, they got eggs or, you know, a little bit of protein or whatever they're doing. But their whole walls are covered with these. So I'm picturing them having their puppy that day, 1,500 years ago, you know, and speaking whatever they are to each other, going, he's getting worn out. Like, give him a break. His little feet, you know, into the clay. So they were very proud of their animals that they had. It's like the original wallpaper when you think about it. And I just love the notion of, like, even back then, people wanted to, like, decorate their homes and make them their own. And they thought, how can we do this? Well, the OG wallpaper apparently is pressing your beloved pet's hands and feet into your clay walls. That's so cute.
Your puppy's hands?
Well, anyway, it's either that. I mean, sorry about that. There's your beloved pet. Yeah. And I'm going to take her, and you're going to go into that snowbank. I mean it. Oh, she sees there's a squirrel right outside the window taunting her. Oh, those squirrels. Okay, we're gonna walk over. We're gonna stay calm. I don't want any violence on our podcast. Let's just let her out.
Taking over the segment.
Hey, she
2-3 years to start seeing the price get down to something that would be maybe a little more mainstream. But I think it's going to be another few years.
Agreed. I'm not convinced of the wow factor anymore.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are like, okay, so what? It folds. It's not like you've gotten, like, you know, this magical device that nobody else has because no one cares about it.
Yeah. I need a rollable screen now.
Well, that's coming based on what we saw at CES.
Yeah, so I'm going to throw that out there. Okay, we are going to have to take a break. Still lots more to talk.
Go on a dig somewhere. So if there's anybody out there listening, when COVID is over, I don't need to be paid. I've got my own rubber boots. I've got knee pads from baseball from the 80s. And I'm ready. I'm ready to do whatever you need to do. Okay, this is a very, very rapid swap of topic here.
Love it.
I want to know if you guys believe in God. I know. I was laying in bed last night and I'm like, these are things that I want to know about Caitlin and Adam, because as much as we've been talking for like,
Pas en visitant Venise et même de manière générale en visitant une certaine partie de l'Italie, à voir à ce point l'Orient, dans la végétation, dans les couleurs, dans la façon de vivre des gens. Et je me suis souvenu d'ailleurs des textes de Proust sur Venise.
Ray Josh Anderson got the game-winning goal.
Or vision of retirement.
2-1 loss. Arizona got by St. Louis 3-1. And coming up on Hockey Night in Canada for the late game is the first Battle of Alberta of the season. Flames taking on the Edmonton Oilers. While your Hall of Fame class is set for the NFL, Calvin Johnson, Charles Woodson, and Tom Flores to Canton so far. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
680 News Time, 10:17.
One diamond for your past. Those early days went by so quickly. Dates of dinners and movies and your very first kiss. One diamond for your present. The way you both fit so seamlessly into each other's days, like pieces of a puzzle meant to be. Every good morning and good night, making you look forward to the next. One diamond for your future. The life you're building for tomorrow and the dreams you dream as one. Together, 3 diamonds to tell the story of your one-of-a-kind love. Introducing Spence Diamonds Trinity Diamond Studs. Just in time for Valentine's Day. Forged in white gold, each trio of diamonds is as unique as your special someone. They're the perfect sparkle for only $1.99. Here until February 14th, until supplies last. Spence's Trinity Diamond Studs. Only $1.99. Here for a limited time until February 14th. Spence Diamonds. Shop online at SpenceDiamonds.com.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News at 10:18. Many U.S. cities have created COVID-19 vaccine megasites to get more Americans inoculated.
At San Francisco's Moscone Center, senior Don Clay says it was worth the wait and the walk.
I parked on a street block down the street. Didn't matter where I was going to park. I parked a mile away just to be here and get this vaccine for the virus.
And at New York's Yankee Stadium, now a mega vaccination site, baseball Hall of Famer Mariano Rivera stopped by to encourage people.
We don't get it. You're not going to talk. If we get it, we're going to save lives. So, I mean, I think that.
This is drive-by music.
Run your fingers through my hair and cause me real tight. Let me be, oh, let it be. Baby bird. I don't want to be a tiger, 'cause tigers play too rough. I don't want to be a lion, 'cause lions ain't the kind you love enough. You're a teddy bear. Put a chain around my neck and leave me anywhere. Oh, let me be, oh, let it be. Oh, teddy bear. Oh, let me be, oh, let it be your teddy bear. I just wanna be your teddy
bear. 10:20.
Out with the old and
But that is activated with augmented reality on your smartphone. Thanks for joining us, Ben.
Thanks for having me.
So from what I understand, this is happening in Vancouver from February 12th to the 28th, I believe. So there will actually be these, I guess, murals and installations around Vancouver. Tell us a little bit more about it.
From around the world.
So VMF Winter Arts is a brand new festival. It's the first augmented reality festival in Canada. And there will be sculptures throughout downtown, which people can scan QR codes and activate augmented reality experiences. And so there's going to be 25 sculptures, there's going to be 25 artists dispersed all throughout downtown.
And are they going to be outside freezing in the cold, or how does that work?
Yes, they will be outside. We figured that's the safest way to get people engaging with public art. The mural festival over the summer went really well, and people really enjoyed engaging with all the neighborhoods throughout Vancouver. And this was a way that we could get people engaging with art. And
Elgin Mills Road. Retail commercial spaces left, ranging in size from 900 to 1,500 square feet. There is ample underground parking and every amenity for our discerning buyers, and you could live upstairs. Occupancy scheduled for fall 2021. Contact cathedraltown.com today or call 905-887-8227. Virtual by Nespresso. Redefining coffee.
Voilà mes compagnons, voilà telle Virginia Woolf, voilà Sandor.
All-wheel drive signature package at 2.9% for 39 months with bi-weekly payments from $218. See luxusofoakville.ca. Your next traffic report is at 10:31. Let's get the forecast. Here's Jason Frazier.
Well, our average low this time of year is right around -2 degrees. And today, we didn't even reach that. And we're going to continue to see some cold air across the GTA. And we'll see some clouds as well. Some of those clouds will feature some snow, but it will likely happen after the midnight hour. And we'll see wind chill values anywhere between -15 to -20 tonight. Tomorrow we'll go up to a high of about -4 degrees. And we'll see a coating to up to 2 centimeters possible, but that'll likely be before lunchtime. I think after lunchtime we'll start to see the snow dissipate. We will, however, keep the cloud cover. And tomorrow night, partly cloudy with a low of -13 degrees. Some peaks for Monday with a high of -6, a little bit warmer for Tuesday, high of -4 degrees, along with cloudy skies. Our overnight low tonight, -9 degrees.
Downtown Toronto right now, it's -7, feeling like -14 and partly cloudy. In Pearson International Airport, it's a little bit chillier, -9, also feeling like -14, partly cloudy as well. Remember, 680 News is the only radio station with a weather guarantee. Today's jackpot stands at $1,600. And coming up at the bottom of the hour, the latest on a deadly police investigation in East Gwillimbury, taking the lives of one man and woman, leaving 3 others in hospital. 680 News time, 10:02.
In times like these, shouldn't your money work even harder for you?
Absolutely.
It just makes it really easy to share pictures and videos with other people. And so it encourages other people to come down and have their own experience, because especially with the sculptural objects, each person can do their own unique thing with it, and they can place it where they want and kind of have their own play with it.
It must be interesting to see people interacting with these on their phones in the real world. I mean, it's kind of different than a normal mural.
Need to know. We are here for you on your radio, online, and on your device. This is 680 News.
In just 60 seconds, we'll take a quick look at the 680 News Business Report. 680 News time, 10:24.
Virtuo by Nespresso. Redefining coffee. Savor a new morning ritual. Innovative technology means preparing your perfect cup of coffee has never been so simple. Allowing you to start your day in the most exceptional way. Virtuo, your morning coffee redefined. Nespresso, what else?
Alexa, what station has the best breaking news, traffic, and weather?
680 News, obviously.
Fresco's big birthday bargains are here, just in time for the big game. Until Wednesday, save $8 on Jane's Ultimate Frozen Chicken Wings. Just $6.99 for 900 grams. Our birthday, your bargains. Fresco, lowering food prices. See flyer or Fresco.com for details.
680 News time, 10:26, time for the 680 News Business Report.
I'm Chris McCusker. There continues to be much talk around debt forgiveness in this country, given these unusual times. The debt forgiveness survey from licensed insolvency trustee firm Bromwich and Smith highlighted something else. Jasmine Mara is Vice President of Sales and Marketing.
I think one of the key things for me, particularly working in the debt space, is just how large a stigma that debt does carry with Canadians. And a little bit around this idea that in order to overcome debt, there needs to be a measure of self-forgiveness. And that is very much anchored in this idea of compassion.
And has the pandemic made people more compassionate?
So some of the survey results that we saw were that Canadians, 8 in 10 did actually support the idea of debt forgiveness, which is quite a new finding relative to what we've seen in the past. And more specifically, they were quite compassionate and empathetic for those who had lost a spouse, a loved one, a job loss, or even student loans and small business debt. And a lot of those, as you know, have been things that we've all collectively experienced in this COVID era.
And then
If you tell a Tesla, does the Tesla steal your truck's energy and recharge the batteries?
Forgive CERB repayment. Well, the reality is, if someone applied for CERB in distress, got the money from the government, notwithstanding perhaps it was unclear guidance or otherwise, it really is just a simple legal question. Was it fraud or misrepresentation? And if not, then absolutely CERB repayments would fall into the forgivable category. And so something to consider, it's not really a, do we believe this should happen? We actually already have legislation to govern whether or not it is forgivable.
Jasmine Mara is with Bromwich and Smith. And at the Business Center, I'm Chris McCusker.
Local news, weather, and traffic as it happens.
680 News. When it comes to attracting customers to your business, 680 News has been delivering the goods for decades. Just ask Frank Serpa of Serpa Automotive Group.
We've been advertising on 680 News since 1996. Because we sell various brands, starting from entry-level vehicles to supercars, 680 can provide me with every client for every brand. Because 680 News has a lot of great listeners. Also, the other advertisers that are on 680 raise the credibility of our business.
Sounds like advertising on 680 News has been working wonders for Serpa Automotive.
When you advertise on 680 News, it's like pushing the gas pedal on your car. It's instant performance, instant horsepower to your business. Every time it gets slow in the dealership, I ask my people.
Being there for each other has never been more.
People, I love that. I love that aspect of any religion that subscribes to it. But the negativity and the way that it's used as a tool to collect money, and the greed and the stuff like that, I stay away from it. And so that's kind of
the Bible always had caveats. Yeah. So I mean, like, we'll get you this, but you have to do this. I mean, there are so many stories that I think were more fable-like. Like I said, I can't even address the Bible. I know nothing about it. I don't want to offend anybody. I just wanted to ask that bigger question. So, what do you think?
I don't want to offend anybody. You just offend
9,
me.
Aurora, mostly cloudy, -10. Richmond Hill, mostly cloudy, -6. Maybe Durham region will be a little bit nicer. Well, Pickering's mostly cloudy and -7. Oshawa, partly cloudy and -7. Stouffville, mostly cloudy and -9. A mostly cloudy night all throughout the GTA. Coming into downtown Toronto, it is partly cloudy and -7, feeling like -14. At Pearson International Airport, you guessed it, partly cloudy, -9, feeling like -14. You are listening to 680 News, CFTR AM Toronto, and at the sound of the double tones, it'll be 10:30.
Toronto's #1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News.
Good evening. It is Saturday, February 6th. I'm Christine Ritchie.
And I'm James Mackin. Here's what's making news this hour.
A violent incident at a home in Mount Albert has left 2 people dead, including the suspect, while 3 others, including an infant, are in hospital. The SIU is now investigating. Toronto police update their investigation into the shooting death of a 20-year-old accounting student who was well respected in his community.
He was studious and striving towards success in all aspects of life.
Police say they're looking for multiple suspects.
The number of new COVID-19 cases jumps by 100,000 in just 3 weeks in Canada, taking us to a new grim threshold.
And Nova Scotians choose a new Liberal premier.
Job number 1, continue Nova Scotia's standout performance with managing COVID-19.
Details on Ian Rankin's victory up next.
It was Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner leading the way for Toronto in a win over the Canucks, while in back-to-back games for the Raptors, it's Chris Boucher with the career high. Sports at 45.
And coming up in business, the reopening of the economy could have a Canada-first focus, a push for building homegrown supply chains with support for the small business sector.
680 News Time, 10:31.
Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Colette Desjardins.
Thanks, Christine. And this report brought to you by IA Private Wealth. We're on the eastbound QEW.
Welcome back to the App Show on Global News Radio's 640 Toronto.
You're back with the App Show. Mike and John here. John, let's talk about booze.
Yes.
And we'll get to wine here, but you and I are big beer drinkers, and you actually keep track of all the beer you drink. Not for health, but for pride and love and accolades.
Well, yeah, I use an app called Untapped, and it allows me to sort of remember the breweries or the beers that I've tried as, you know, we used to travel the world, but also the local craft breweries. It's good to know if you've tried something, because sometimes these breweries...
You won't talk about
investigation blocking lanes on Vivian Creek Road at Ridgegate Crescent. If you're in that area and can provide details, please do. Our free traffic tip line, star 680. IA Private Wealth is Canada's choice for professional, trusted advice that's uniquely tailored for every stage of your financial journey. Visit iaprivatewealth.ca. Your next traffic report is coming up at 10:41. Right now, let's get the forecast. Jason Frazier.
It's going to be a cold night, and we're going to see temperatures dipping way below the freezing mark. I'm expecting wind chills to dip down anywhere between 15 to about 20 degrees, and we are expecting to see some cloud cover develop and possibly even some snow showers after the midnight hour. Our overnight air temperature tonight is -9 degrees.
And we're a little warmer than that right now, but not by too much. It's -7, feeling like -14 in downtown Toronto, and partly cloudy. And at Pearson, -9, feeling like -14, partly cloudy as well. 680 News Time, 10:33.
U.S. Regional Police investigating a grisly scene after a stabbing in Mount Albert, just north of Newmarket. 2 people are dead, including the 37-year-old male suspect, and a woman, a child, and an infant also rushed to hospital with serious stabbing wounds.
680's Michelle Mackey has more details.
The home at 4 Ridgegate Crescent is now a crime scene, sectioned off by police tape after York Regional Police say 2 people were killed, 1 woman found dead, and a male suspect reportedly shot by an officer.
The suspect is now deceased. He's an adult male, and that portion is going to be subject to an SIU investigation because of the fact that it was a police on a citizen interaction.
Constable Laura Nicole also says a woman, a young child, and an infant were injured in the incident and taken to hospital. The extent of their injuries is unknown. A neighbor says she saw a chaotic scene between an injured man and a woman on the front lawn of the home before police and paramedics arrived around 2:30 p.m.
Then I saw they took a little boy, some policemen, and then I saw a little boy. He was sitting, or he was lying beside the man that was lying there with a lot of blood.
The SIU has now taken over the investigation. I'm Michelle Mackey.
680 News Time 10:34. An update now in a case that has rattled the North York community. Toronto police are looking for possibly 3 suspects in the shooting death of 20-year-old Hashim Amar Haji. Malia Sheikh from City News spoke with a youth counselor and Toronto police about the incident.
He was studious and striving towards success in all aspects of life. He was not someone that let the stigma of neighborhood shape him or stunt his character.
On January 31st, Hashi was returning home around 9 p.m. following a quick dinner with friends.
The suspect vehicle approached within seconds behind him. A lone suspect exited the front passenger side of that vehicle and ran up to Mr. Hashi's passenger side vehicle and fired multiple gunshots.
The suspect vehicle is a 2017 black 4-door Honda Civic that was last seen traveling eastbound on Falstaff and heading on to the 401. Anyone with any information or dash cam footage is being asked to contact Toronto Police or Crime Stoppers, and they can do so anonymously. Malia Sheikh, City News.
You're listening to All News Radio, 680 News at 10:36. Canada has passed another sobering milestone. Only 3 weeks after hitting 700,000 cases, more than 800,000 cases of COVID-19 have been reported in the country since the start of the global pandemic. This according to federal government data, which adds that the national tally crossed the disheartening threshold today, with Ontario and Quebec each adding a little over 1,000 cases to the national count. The data also shows over 20,000 Canadians have died from COVID-19. And while it appears the national rate of infection is slowing, Dr. Theresa Tam says it's crucial that strong measures are kept in place in order to maintain a steady downward trend. She also warns new variants could rapidly increase daily case counts. So far, Ontario has reported 153 cases involving a COVID-19 variant, including one of the strain first identified in South Africa.
680 News Time 10:36. Earlier this week, Mayor John Tory unveiled the City of Toronto's Black Community COVID-19 response plan. Tory says it was developed in response to data released late last year that revealed the highest rates of COVID-19 cases in Toronto at 26% were among Black people of African and Caribbean descent. He says vaccine hesitancy is also an issue within the Black community.
Vaccine hesitancy, which would cause people to be hesitant even to go to a place we might have established for the administration of a vaccine when the time comes, hopefully not too long from now. Vaccine hesitancy is high among Black residents, and that means we have to do everything possible to provide them with the information they need to get around and get over that hesitancy.
The city has partnered with community agencies to provide COVID-19 health and safety awareness in Black communities and to work with experts to prepare for and support immunization.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News at 10:37.
Right, obviously doesn't last more than 6 months.
These are the filters of the GT.
Let's see, May 1st, I wasn't sick anymore. June, July, August, September, October, November 1st would be 6. December 1st would be 7 months. I got sick with the variant, whichever one I got.
Palmer, or as many know him as That Dude McFly on social media, comes from 2 parents of Jamaican descent, and he's always embraced his West Indian heritage culture, and it shows up in his work.
Growing up, I always craved attention. I was always the class clown. Wow. Hey, you got to do something to get noticed. I'm Jamaican, and that's just how we are. And I mean,
well, that said that.
No.
From comedic skits, song parodies, and viral rants, Marlon does it all across his social media pages, including his YouTube page, which has amassed 176,000 subscribers and over 26 million views. Few people can talk about the culture in the way that he does, but also be right at the center of it. I'm Shamroy Parkinson, 680 News.
This is All News on Radio CFTR. A long-standing Canadian COVID-19 hotspot is approaching a bleak milestone.
Health officials in Quebec say that province is just one death away from logging its 10,000th loss related to the virus. The provincial death toll climbed by 27 today, including 9 over the past 24 hours. Quebec reported 1,204 new COVID-19 infections today, while Ontario recorded 1,388 plus 45 related deaths. The news was more positive in Nova Scotia, where provincial officials say there were no new infections in the past 24 hours, and the number of active cases across the province is down to just 7. Michelle McQuaig, The Canadian Press.
Coming up in 30 seconds, we'll take a look at your gas prices.
Back in my day, we walked in the snow, uphill, both ways. Nowadays, you kids whip around in your Jeeps with your 4x4 capability and your I can go anywhere attitudes.
What's your point, Grandpa?
Well, you gonna show me what this thing can do or what? I ain't getting any younger.
Get up to $8,100 in discounts plus $2,500 in loyalty.
You down, pass your hand, spin it all around. Feel the rhythm, let the ride. Come on along and have a real good time. Like this, something to watch your boy. Now we're free. Oh, what a joy! Just come on down to the little boy. Like out on the floor.
Evolved. Visit makegoodfood.ca. With minimum purchase. Details on makegood.ca.
If I told you there are as many as 2,000 homeless youth in our city each night, would you care?
What if I told you most of them have suffered from abuse and neglect? Then would you care? What if I told you many feel safer on the streets than they do at home? Now do you care? What if I told you I really need your help?
How young do they need to be before you care? Donate $8 a month to Covenant House Toronto and provide homeless kids with a warm bed, hot meal, and a better future. Visit covenanthousetoronto.ca to donate. 680 News Time 10:41. Let's head over to the traffic center now with Colin Desjardins.
And this report is brought to you by Pizza. We've got construction set up on the westbound 401. It's approaching the Allen in the Express. The right lane will be blocked. It looks as though MTO crews are there. Speaking of the Allen, a problem southbound on the Allen, approaching the ramp to the eastbound 401. We've got a stalled tractor trailer blocking the right lane. A tow truck is on the scene. Going to see if we can get it up on camera. And I just got off the phone with York Regional Police, and they tell me we still have that ongoing police investigation in Mount Albert. So you'll find Vivian Creek Road at Ridgegate Crescent. Lanes are blocked for that investigation. Now at Pizza, try new popcorn chicken. Tender and juicy bite-sized pieces made with Canadian farm-raised chicken. Perfect for game day, especially tomorrow. Now at Pizza. Your next traffic report coming up at 10:51, but right now let's get the forecast. Here's Jason Frazier.
Well, the clouds will be sticking around for much of the GTA, and I do think some of those clouds after midnight could turn into some snowflakes, and we'll see temperatures continuing to decrease tomorrow. I think some of you could be waking up to just a little bit of light snow, some flurries, out to 2 centimeters possible, but I think by the afternoon time we should start to see the snow threat dissipate. We'll reach a high near -4 degrees, partly cloudy tomorrow night, with a low near -13 degrees. Our overnight low tonight, -9.
And right now we are sitting at -7, feeling like a -14 with a few clouds. 680 News Time, 10:43. Well, Super Bowl parties are going to look a lot different this year with stay-at-home orders in place, but that doesn't mean you can't make it feel like you're at the bar watching the game, right? Jennifer Holman tells you what you need to do.
Yeah, takeout wings are always a huge deal this weekend, and a lot of restaurants are expecting to churn out pounds of food, albeit in smaller orders, since people can't have big parties. So what do you do when you can't have people over? You probably Zoom. And St. Louis Bar and Grill has a way for you to feel like everything is back to normal, according to Royal Massager, Vice President of Marketing with St. Louis.
Everything I find sucks.
Recovery for granted. I asked if she was still vulnerable to the lure of the online casino.
It's only just over 250 days I haven't gambled for, so it's still quite early days. I hope not. I know for a fact that my marriage would be over. My husband wouldn't stick by me again. I've been married for 15 years, so that'd be an awful thing to happen to me. So I think that just makes me not want to do it. I hope I don't. I really do. But you can never say never. You've got to sort of take it one day at a time, I suppose.
Recovering addict Jade Vallis ending that report by Mike Johnson. The rise in online gambling is one example of the darker side of lockdown. But what about some of the other things we've been doing at home over the past year? Cooking, reading, taking up a new hobby. We can probably all tick something off that list. But none of it really stops the loneliness or boredom we feel when we're not able to spend time with our nearest and dearest. So there's been a huge rise in the number of people getting pets to keep them company whilst working from home.
If I had my life to live over, I know just what I'd like to be. Happy pet of a rich brunette sitting on my mama's knee.
But what's going to happen to all of these cats and dogs when we head back to the workplace? Manuela Saragossa reports.
It's a very mild afternoon here on my usual dog walking route just outside London. Monty, my dog, loves coming here, and we've been coming here for the past few years. But I have to say that since the lockdown started early last year, the number of dog walkers here has risen hugely. I used to come across 1 or 2 or 3, usually in the morning. Now they're absolutely everywhere, which is great for my dog Monty because he gets to sniff at lots of other four-legged friends.
Tell us this an hour
ago. To sniff at, but also to bark at. Go on, Monty, fetch. Pet ownership in the developed world has soared since more people have started to work from home. A Bank of America survey found 37% of Americans have adopted pets in the last 6 months alone. In the UK, a survey by Ipsos Mori found that 41% of current pet owners got a new pet during lockdown. It's a picture repeated across Europe. In the Netherlands, the pet insurance company Pet Plan said it sold.
This is the app show where they talk about beer.
Yeah, it sounds like it. So presumably when he gets the device back, ideally what you would do is log in and then it would restore all of your backups and stuff like that. But if he didn't have a record of what the account was that was used, that could be difficult. Yeah, that's, I mean, nowadays, like, scratch, all these devices are doing their best to be extra.
Extra what? Dummy terminals with risk processors. What the hell is this? You gotta be kidding me. What it was here. Listen for a few more seconds.
She just laughs. The boulevard is not that bad.
I hate this shit. Some of it. We're gonna play this song
and the best they can do
tell you it's a
is
classic.
to close their shells tight to prevent water loss.
Here we go. Well, you play every. You should play all 8 parts to that every day instead of one a week.
Totally besotted with her and has her in his office and dotes on her. Georgina, owner of Labrador Luna. So companionship, something to sit at your feet in the home office, and good for the kids. What's not to like?
I'm peaceful. Degrees, and the normal level is 33.
Damn it.
COVID-19 has forced drastic employment changes on many Canadians in the form of layoffs, pay cuts, reduction in hours, demotions, and work relocation. What most employees don't realize is that your employer does not have a right to make significant changes to terms of employment without your consent. You don't have to accept these changes. Your employer is essentially terminating you, and you are owed full severance pay.
Can you keep showing up to work anyway?
That you are legally owed. My team has helped tens of thousands of employees get the compensation they deserve when changes are made to their job. Before you accept any changes, contact me and discover why my employment law firm is the most positively reviewed firm in Canada.
Contact employment lawyer Lior Samfiru today. Get the advice you need and the compensation you deserve. Visit employmentlawyer.ca. That's employmentlawyer.ca. 680 News Time 1049. If you have a baby eating solid foods, Health Canada wants to reassure you that baby foods sold in this country are safe. It comes after a review of the results of a U.S. investigation into levels of toxic metals in products from several major manufacturers. The agency says it works with the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to regularly monitor for trace elements including arsenic, cadmium, lead, and mercury. It says the levels in Canada are low and not expected to pose a safety concern. The Nova Scotia Liberals have spoken.
The new leader of the Nova Scotia Liberal Party and our next Premier of Nova Scotia is Ian Rankin.
The former provincial forestry minister garnered just over 52% of the votes after the three-person race went to a second ballot. In his victory speech, Rankin says his top priority will be the pandemic.
Job number one, continue Nova Scotia's standout performance with managing COVID-19. At the same time, though, we need a plan for an economic recovery that will position Nova Scotia with a competitive advantage that leverages innovation and recognizes the economic power of a growing population.
The leadership contest was triggered last summer when outgoing Premier Stephen McNeil announced his retirement. Traffic report up next.
At JackpotCity.net, you can do amazing things with just one casino chip. Discover a world of incredible casino games with over 500 high-quality online slot games, including the world-renowned progressive jackpot slot, Mega Moolah. Play for free at JackpotCity.net and get treated as a VIP 24/7. So visit JackpotCity.net today on your tablet, laptop, or mobile. Jackpot City, a whole world of casino games. 18 plus. Please play responsibly.
Programmed into
Experience the
pressing the button over and over and over. They told us a monkey would press a button 10,000 times in a row to get a hit of cocaine.
This collection of condominiums, townhomes, and penthouses is meticulously detailed with selective finishes and includes 30,000 square feet of outdoor space. Enjoy close access to Viva Transit and the future TTC Young Extension, only a 6-minute walk away. Secure incentives such as a $25,000 discount on parking, free locker, and more. 8188.
Huge totem-like patterns extend from the shore to the ocean. These are stone weirs. They are basalt fish traps, seemingly natural, but in fact man-made. They were created in prehistoric times as static fishing nets, taking advantage of the tide. As the tide rises, fish swim into the stone weirs.
Big stupid fish get stuck, man. That's just helping.
As it falls, the fish become trapped by the basalt, a bounty to be taken from the tide. However, the distribution of the traps is fairly sparse. Apart from catching some larger fish, the ancients seem to have no great ambitions. Compared with intensive modern fishing methods, bath salt traps are far friendlier to nature. It also reminds us that having the ability to dominate nature doesn't mean we are above it. Only living in harmony with nature can we get long-lasting benefit from it. The ocean is where life first began, and home to myriad marine creatures. The sea produces more than 70% of the Earth's oxygen. The ocean currents and the tide, with its regular rhythm of rise and fall, keep the planet's saltwater body in healthy circulation. The health of the oceans. The continuation of species. And the future of our planet are all dependent on this constant movement.
With that, we come to the end of this edition of Selfie. We'll continue with the audio segment of the 6-episode documentary titled The Blue World, produced by CGTN. If you want to check out the video, please log on to CGTN's website, www.cgtn.
David Morton said he's excited to be partnering with Dillard University. He'll teach master classes in songwriting, music publishing, and studio production. Morton won a Grammy for his 2018 song, How Deep Is Your Love, and another in 2019 for his song, Say So. Coming up in a minute, the business report.
Hey, let's play a game.
Sure.
Let's pretend I was going to ask you to marry me.
Oh, I like this game.
So what kind of ring would you have in mind?
Oh, well, something simple.
Okay, great.
Want a ring? She wants a freaking crown and a pony.
Not traditional, but not traditional, you know?
Huh?
Something that represents me, or one else, without being too cliche, not too subtle, and not too loud. And made in Canada, I think that's important too.
Okay.
Honestly, though, I haven't really thought about it that much.
Right. Spence Diamonds is Canada's engagement destination, with over 2,500 designs to choose from. So whether you know exactly what you're looking for, or if you haven't thought about it that much, we'll handcraft the perfect engagement ring for that perfect person. Now available with no interest financing. Shop online at SpenceDiamonds.com.
Now the business report.
I'm Mike Apple. The reopening of the economy, when it happens, should come with a spotlight on Buy Canadian. For the vast majority of people surveyed by KPMG, 92% saying there should be incentives created to jumpstart the economy with a buildup of Canadian production and supply chains. And that could start with smaller companies. Sylvia Montefiore is the Chief Operating Officer and Managing Canadian Partner with KPMG.
Problems, all investment capital went to China, and they used it to develop Africa.
Businesses in our communities that are really hurting from these lockdowns and restrictions. In fact, nearly all Canadians say the pandemic has left them with a greater appreciation for small businesses in their communities. And Canadians want governments to continue with these relief programs, but they also want us to work on building back our economy by adopting a Canada First approach.
Pushing for a Buy Canadian approach will require help from the federal government.
And ensuring we can make the essential products we need right here in Canada. They also want big businesses to work more with local suppliers and providers. But Canadians are willing to make that same commitment. 9 in 10 told us that they're focused on where they spend their dollars to ensure they're supporting Canadian companies to help get our
except for surprise, man.
Now, the pandemic economic restructuring has also laid bare many of the inequities in society, something, though, that can be corrected.
And issues that were previously, ignored or brushed aside are being discussed with a real commitment to change. They recognize we must eliminate systemic biases, barriers, and racism in order for our country to rebound stronger and more resilient than ever. Individuals, businesses, and governments need to start by acknowledging the existence of biases and racism, having open conversations, targeting conscious and unconscious bias, but most of all, we all need to make a commitment to take action.
Unconscious.
Did you miss filing your taxes? Did you let 1 year turn into many? Boxes of paper, lost documents, disorganized, confused. Don't know where to start? What to do next? We do. Call Mark Feldstein Chartered Professional Accountants. We deal with this every day. It's never too late. Start sleeping at night. Call Mark Feldstein Chartered Professional Accountants now or visit markfeldstein.ca. markfeldstein.ca.
So, our mortgage approval is done?
Great news. The bank has approved you at a 1.79% rate.
What the what? That's way too high. Butler Mortgage is 1.38%.
To know what happened.
This is Saturday Night Bandstand with Norm Edwards on Human Radio, the original greatest hits.
Has passed another grim milestone. As schools across the province prepare to reopen, the provincial government is teasing the possibility that the economy may soon follow.
After the military coup in Myanmar, a Vancouver-based voice for the Rohingya minority calling on Canadians to be a stronger voice for her people and country.
Austin Matthews and Mitch Marner lead the way as the Leafs pick up a win over the Canucks, and the Raptors fall just short in Atlanta, but a career night for Chris Boucher. Sports at 15.
And coming up to discuss the GameStop frenzy is reiterating a point you hear from financial advisors often. Time, not timing, builds wealth. 6 News Time 11:01.
Which means it's time for traffic and weather together all at once.
In the express, then close the right lane, and if you're traveling on the island in the collectors, the two left lanes are blocked for that same work. And of course, because of this work on the westbound 401 at the island, they've shut down the island transfers from collector to express. So that work will be going on overnight. But we also have another problem in that same area. A stone tractor trailer, it's on the southbound island approaching the 401. It's blocking the right lane. IA Private Wealth is Canada's choice for professional, trusted advice that's uniquely tailored for every stage of your financial journey. Visit iaprivatewealth.ca. Your next traffic report is coming up at 11:11. But right now, let's get the forecast. Here's Jason Frazier.
Well, tonight we'll see partly cloudy skies for most of the night, but after around midnight, I am expecting some snow to possibly develop, and we could see some periods of snow. Not expecting much in terms of accumulation, maybe about a coating for most of the GTA, and we'll see wind chills right around minus 20 degrees tonight. Our overnight low tonight, minus 9.
And we are sitting at minus 7, feeling like a frosty minus 14 with that wind chill, and we have a partly cloudy sky. 680 News Time, 11:03.
York Regional Police are investigating a tragic scene at a Mount Albert home in East Gwillimbury, where 2 people, including the 37-year-old male suspect, are dead
and 3 others have been rushed to hospital with serious injuries.
680's Michelle Mackey tells us the SIU has now been called in.
The quiet residential street of Ridgegate Crescent is now the site of a deadly crime scene. York Regional Police say they were called to a home around 2:30 p.m. where a woman was dead and a male suspect was subsequently shot and killed by an officer.
We have an additional adult female who was taken to hospital with injuries, as well as what I'm told was a young child and an infant. And they were all taken to hospital. I don't have an update on the extent of their injuries.
A neighbor who witnessed the chaotic scene on the front lawn of the home says she wanted to help, but the woman warned her to stay away and said the man had a knife.
I didn't know what was happening. I don't know what was going on, but I felt helpless.
It remains unclear what transpired, but police believe this was an isolated incident and there was no threat to public safety. The SIU has now taken over the investigation. I'm Michelle Mackey.
680 News Time, 11:04.
This just into 680 News. Toronto police are investigating sound of gunshots in the city's east end at Shepherd East and Gateforth Drive. They say the call came in around 10:40 tonight with calls of multiple shots heard. Police arrived on site near a parking lot in the area where they found a man with gunshot wounds. He is unresponsive and a firearm was located nearby. Paramedics are rushing to the scene. Traffic will be busy in the area. Stay with 680 News for the latest on this developing story.
Physical News Radio, CSTR. Toronto police are looking for at least 2 suspects, possibly 3, in the shooting death of a 20-year-old accounting student, Hashim Amor-Hashi, in North York back on January 31st. Detective Sergeant Ted Leomana says Hashi was killed as he was about to drive into the parking garage at his apartment building at 40 Falstaff Avenue near Jane Street.
The suspect vehicle approached within seconds behind him. A lone suspect exited the front passenger side of that vehicle and ran up to Mr. Hashi's passenger side vehicle and fired multiple gunshots. The shooter then got into the vehicle and the vehicle was last seen eastbound Falstaff Avenue.
Police said the suspect's vehicle was found a short time later, fully engulfed in flames at Earl Bales Park. Detectives say there are at least 2 suspects, the driver and the lone shooter in the incident, but they're looking into possibilities there were more suspects.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News at 11:05. Only 3 weeks after hitting 700,000 total COVID-19 cases throughout the nation, we've hit another grim milestone. Today, Canada passed 800,000 total COVID-19 cases. Federal government data showing our current case count at 801,057. We've also had over 20,000 deaths since the beginning of the pandemic. The country's top doctor, Dr. Trippz, says the emergence of new virus variants means we must continue to remain vigilant.
680 News Time, 11:06. Ontario will begin to gradually reopen its economy next week, except in the GTA, where stay-at-home orders will be extended for an additional week. Government sources tell 680 News on Monday, Premier Ford will make an announcement that the state of emergency that went into effect last month will expire as scheduled on February 9th, and the government will transition back into the color-coded framework that ranked regions based on case numbers, but an additional emergency break will be in place. It will also allow the government to quickly move a region into lockdown if it experiences a rapid acceleration in COVID-19 transmission or if the healthcare system becomes overwhelmed. Regions outside of the GTA will be allowed to gradually reopen starting next week, with the GTA following suit the week of February 22nd.
And more Ontario students are returning to classrooms on Monday, but many parents are wondering if there will be enough staff in place to keep those kids safe. This morning, a spokesperson for the province confirmed to 680 News they have hired 3,400 new teachers, 1,400 custodians, and 620 public health nurses. But President of the Ontario School Board of Unions, Laura Walton, says staff in the schools say otherwise.
What we're hearing from the front lines is that those folks have not been hired, and then not in the numbers that is being spoken about. And so we've been told that there has been a survey that shows that these folks have been hired. We have not been able to get the results of those surveys, so we put out a Freedom of Information request, which was denied by the ministry.
Walton says the province has denied the request, and the government says it anticipates making more hires and will continue to invest in education to ensure students are safe and supported in schools.
And it's been a tough year for college and university students trying to navigate school learning virtually during the pandemic, especially as schools begin to alter key graduation requirements. Brandon Rowe from City News spoke with the Ontario College faculty members who share how they're adapting their programs during this time.
We still have some in-person placements happening. We have child and youth care workers working at Sick Kids, social service workers working at the Children's Aid, and then we've taken other creative approaches with virtual placements.
These institutions have also had to figure out how international students are able to complete their placements and internships. Many of these students are attending classes in their home countries and are in Canada to work in Canadian companies.
In particular, tackle our underrepresented group of students that normally would not have an opportunity to travel or go abroad, and offer them an opportunity to leverage the work from home arrangement with global companies.
The colleges we spoke with say they give students the option to defer their internships or placements post-COVID, and there would be no academic or financial penalties. I'm Brandon Rowe for City News.
Are they going up or are they going down? We'll tell you how gas prices are changing in just 30 seconds. 680 News Time, 11:09.
Listen 3, 4, 5 times a day on your radio, on our mobile app, and on your smart speaker.
Play 680 News.
Across Canada, 35,000 people are homeless each night. Many don't have access to doctors or the healthcare they need. That's something we're helping to change. TELUS Health for Good brings medical and mental health care directly to those who need it most. Our mobile health clinics bring compassionate care to the streets of 13 communities across Canada, including here in the GTA. Learn more about our mobile health clinics at telus.com/health-for-good. Let's make the future friendly together.
Now the 680 News gas price update. Enpro says the price of gas will not change at midnight, holding at just under $1.18 a liter at most GTA stations. Traffic and weather in just 60 seconds. 680 News Time, 11:10.
Your head says, make sound investments for the future. But your heart says, invest in that new sound system right now. With Advice Plus from Scotiabank, we can help you balance both, so you can live for today and save for tomorrow. Working together, we'll build a plan and add investment solutions along the way. So, the plan that helps you invest for tomorrow can still sound fantastic today. Get started at scotiabank.com/investing. Advice Plus. Only from Scotiabank.
Still a lot of winter left. Is your furnace up to it? Call Reliance Home Comfort for a repair or replacement. We're here 24/7, and we'll get there fast. Reliance has over 50,000 5-star reviews, and you can count on our commitment to safety precautions. And remember to ask about our next day or we pay installation guarantee. Call today and save 30% off our featured furnace. Get a great furnace deal now. Call Reliance. Conditions apply. Savings on our regular price. See website for details.
680 News Time, 11:11. Time for traffic and weather together on the ones. Keeping it on that late night drive. Here's Colette Desjardins.
Thanks, and this report brought to you by Aaron Waxman and Associates. If you're traveling right now on the eastbound QEW, just at Burloak, we've got the right lane blocked, all because of a crash. And taking a look right now at the eastbound 401, if you're going to use the northbound 400, if you're going to use the ramp from the eastbound 401 to the northbound 400, the express ramp is closed temporarily because they're trying to remove a stalled vehicle. So you're going to have to use the collector's ramp from the eastbound 401 to northbound 400. On the westbound 401, we've got construction quite a bit. Right now at the Allen in the express, the right lane is closed. If you're in the collectors, the two left lanes are closed. Also on the westbound 401 at the Allen, they've shut down the transfers from collectors to express, and because of all that work in the express and collectors. Also, southbound Allen, just approaching the 401, we've got a stalled tractor trailer. It's blocking the right lane. It's not causing any delays. MTO, of course, is aware of that situation. If your disability claim has been denied for any reason, call Aaron Waxman at 416-661-4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD. Your next traffic report is at 11:21. Right now, let's get the forecast. Here's Jason.
deal for that. So that, again, a lot of these tech companies are joining forces with the car companies to really redefine what their platforms actually are. And
on n'a pas ce besoin de cette nourriture de jouer aussi l'autre, le moins gentil ou parce qu'il y a deux frères ennemis. Et là, c'est de le voir jouer puis en plus, c'est de le voir jouer par le créateur. Ça, c'est encore plus impressionnant et magique. Et c'est vraiment très agréable de ce côté-là pour moi. Mais
13 degrees. So overnight low tonight, -9 degrees.
Downtown Toronto right now, it's -7, feeling like -14 with partly cloudy conditions out in that beautiful evening sky. Pearson International Airport, -9, feeling like -14, partly cloudy as well. 680 News Time, 11:13. This just into 680 News. Police are investigating after a man was shot in the city's East End.
That's what you were supposed to say the first time.
In the area just before 11 p.m. after a man walked into the emergency room. The man appeared to be suffering from gunshot wounds, and his injuries have been deemed serious. Now, it's currently unknown if this shooting is connected to the incident at Shepherd Avenue East and Gate 4th Drive, in which another man was shot. Stay with 680 News for more on these developing
stories. They're both
stories.
going to know each other.
In 60 seconds, your top stories, followed by sports.
Since the dawn of time, humans have been pursuing food. First in open plains and lush forests, and later in the crowded aisles of grocery stores. Today,
where exactly did you find that?
With good food, you can get delicious
what part of the history
meals,
book is
caramelized onion,
that's how it was. Everybody knows that.
Delivered right to your home. Because some things are better left in the past. Good food, eating evolved. Visit makegoodfood.ca.
It's the Ram 4x4 Winter Event.
How about a more dramatic name? Like the Ram Winter Doesn't Stand a Chance event.
With big discounts on Ram trucks.
So, that's a no.
Get 20% off MSRP with up to $12,950 in total discounts.
Wow, discounts that big, doesn't matter what you call it.
Plus $3,000 in loyalty cash for select owners.
Okay.
Select, whoa, what does that mean? You gotta trade in your good truck to get one of their crappy new ones. What it is. I'm gonna trick you out of your truck.
Is 680 News. Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. This is 680 News.
-7, feeling like -14 with overcast conditions in downtown Toronto. Good evening. I'm James Mackin, and here are the top stories this hour. A grim scene in East Gwillimbury today. York Regional Police and the SIU are on scene in Mount Albert, investigating an incident that took the lives of 2 people and left 2 children and another adult injured. Toronto police are investigating a shooting in the city's East End. They received a call around 10:40 for sounds of gunshots near Shepherd and Gate 4th and found 1 unconscious man with life-threatening injuries. They're also investigating another incident nearby in which a man walked into a hospital with a gunshot wound. It's currently unknown if they're connected. And Canada has surpassed 800,000 total COVID-19 cases since the beginning of the pandemic, only 3 weeks after hitting 700,000. 680 News Time, 11:16.
The thing is, if it's not connected,
now 680
the
Sports
police will never let it go.
The fan here is Colin Teskey.
Maple Leafs improved to 9-2-1 thanks to a 5-1.
And even your smartphone, ultra secure. Better than passwords.
Shut up.
Better than your face. Just that extra hardware level. So you want to stay tuned for that. You're listening to Get Connected here in the Chorus Radio Network.
That's all your body in the trunk of your car to start,
business
right?
owner, you need a one-stop solution to all your IT needs.
You need the Wise Tech Group.
I think it's a shame. What do you think? Thank you very much. So, Bill Bryson, do you prefer the conviviality of high street shops to shopping malls and, well, obviously online shopping is hardly convivial at all?
Convivial. It's one of those made-up words.
Don't know the words in its song. Hey, but feel my body get along. Hey, hey, But all I do is say her name. She gets the message just the same. Hey, la, 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 hey, girl, I love you so much.
There you go. Call or visit us today at northwoodmortgage.com.
During the next few difficult months, Uniform Local 414 encourages everyone to be positive, exercise safely, and stay connected with family and friends. Keep in mind that following healthcare guidelines is the best way to protect the healthcare and essential workers and Uniform Local 414's own frontline heroes who have helped us through these challenging times. We've learned how to best protect ourselves and others, and vaccines will soon be available for all. Don't forget that better times are just ahead. A reminder from Uniform Local 414.
You're listening to All News Radio 680 News at 11:19. A leading global voice for the Rohingya people of Myanmar, which finds itself engulfed in a military coup, is calling on people in Canada to learn more about the situation. 680's Amanda Warwick tells us the Vancouver-based advocate is also worried about the flow of information coming from the country she was born in.
Less than a year ago, Yasmin Ullah sat in The Hague as the International Court of Justice ruled that Aung San Suu Kyi's government was obligated to protect her people, the Rohingya. Today, that government remains locked up as part of this month's military coup. Ullah says while she is able to get some information about what's happening on the ground, the military's control is tightening.
People used to try to actually access the internet through VPN networks. The military has found a way out as well.
The founder of the Rohingya Human Rights Network is calling on Canadians to learn more about the situation and reach out to elected officials here to generate action beyond condemnation. I'm Amanda Warwick.
In just 60 seconds, we'll take a quick look at your late night commute. 680 News Time, 11:20.
Scott McGilvery here. I've done hundreds of home renovations over the years, and I'm particularly careful about what I put under the floors. On my projects, I use DMX 2.0. This easy-to-install underlayment has an air gap design that allows moisture to evaporate.
Oh, yeah. What does a VPN have to do with firewalling the whole country? The fuck?
Buzz driving is don't drink. Global News Radio 640 Toronto.
Welcome back to Get Connected on Global News Radio 640 Toronto. You are back with Get Connected. Mike Hagerbo here with...
The praise for is London. And it would be lovely to have another reading now from Notes from a Small Island in which you talk about London.
I do find London exciting. Much as I hate to agree with that tedious old family crisis,
to the northbound 400,
despite the pompous and disorderly
right now it's just the
status
left lane that is blocked, well, because of a disabled vehicle, emergency cruiser there, but you can use the express ramp, but it is a little restored in that area. On the westbound 401 construction.
Eu vivo a vida ao acaso, tenho a sorte do meu lado, o vento me leva. Não procuro, mas aproveito qualquer.
Now at Pizza, try the new popcorn chicken. Tender and juicy bite-sized pieces made with Canadian farm-raised chicken. Perfect for game day. Now at Pizza. Your next traffic report is coming at 11:31, but right now, let's get the forecast. Here's Jason Frazier.
Well, our average low this time of year is right around -2 degrees. And today, you know, we didn't even reach that. And we're going to continue to see some cold air across the GTA. And we'll see some clouds as well. Some of those clouds will feature some snow, but it will likely happen after the midnight hour. And we'll see wind chill values anywhere between -15 to -20 tonight. Tomorrow we'll go up to a high of about -4 degrees. And we'll see a cold cooling to up to 2 centimeters possible, but that'll likely be before lunchtime. I think after lunchtime we'll start to see the snow dissipate. We will, however, keep the cloud cover. And tomorrow night, partly cloudy with a low of minus 13 degrees. Some peaks for Monday with a high of minus 6. A little bit warmer for Tuesday, high of minus 4 degrees, along with cloudy skies. Our overnight low tonight, minus 9 degrees.
And it's warming up a little bit in downtown Toronto. It's minus 6, feeling like minus 13 and overcast. If you're out by Pearson International Airport, though, bad news because it's minus 8, feeling like minus 11, overcast as well. Remember, 680 News is the only radio station with a weather guarantee. Today's jackpot stands $1,600. And coming up at the bottom of the hour, the latest on Toronto police investigating multiple gunshots heard in Scarborough, leaving one man with life-threatening injuries. 680 News Time, 11:23.
Out with the old and in with the new. It's something you hear a lot this time of year. Making space in your life is what a new year is for. Get a fresh start in your home and your life with Access Storage. With a safe place to store the belongings you love but don't have space for, Access Storage can be your resolution solution with flexible and affordable storage options and more than 100 convenient locations in Ontario. Get on with your new year. Access Storage. Shop Canadian, store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free. Visit Access Storage.ca.
Yes, it's an excellent question, and we have to talk for hours on this topic because London has changed a lot, and in some ways it is massively better than it was even then. And I still think it is the most wonderful city in the world. I really do. But then in some ways it's gotten much, much harsher. I feel as if it's become a lot more urgent and ill-tempered. You know, in that passage that I read about people being polite and helpful and cars stopping for your zebra crossing.
Famous groundhog is reported to have forecast an early spring last Tuesday, but he did not appear on camera. The town's mayor, Janice Jackson, made the announcement in an online video on Willie's behalf.
It's an early spring.
That can't be real.
There you have it, folks, from beautiful Wyerton, Ontario. The official prediction. Willie predicts an early spring.
A news release from the town asked, is Willie dead or alive? Would you question the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus? And this wouldn't be the first time Willie has died, as groundhogs in captivity usually live for a maximum of 14 years. Willie has been around since 2017. He's got my fingers crossed for you, Willie. Better be an early spring next year, though. Coming up in just 60 seconds, your 680 News Business Report.
Fresco's big birthday bargains are here, just in time for the big game. Until Wednesday, save $8 on Jane's Ultimate Frozen Chicken Wings. Just $6.99 for 900 grams. Our birthday, your bargains. Fresco, lowering food prices. See flyer or fresco.com for details.
East Coast Ford, the #1 retailer of Ford Canada for 2020, is your #1 destination for the toughest, smartest F-150. Check out the completely redesigned 2021 F-150 Super Cruise 4-wheel drive, loaded with heated leather seats, navigation, and so much more. Get it at East Court Ford for only $95 plus HST weekly on a 24-month lease with just $2,000 free down. Get the most for the least at East Court Ford at Shepherd and McCowan in Scarborough, or go to eastcourtfordlincoln.com. See dealer for details.
680 News Time, 11:26. Time for the 680 News Business Report.
I'm Chris McCusker. It seems the GameStop frenzy is dying down, at least for now. The stock jumped 400% in 1 week. The so-called Reddit rally after retail investors decided to force hedge funds to cover their bets against the company. Now, the stock came back down to earth this week, and that proved the point that money managers have been trying to get across. You might make money, but it's risky. Steve Rogers is investment strategist at IG Wealth.
There's all these decades of experience showing that wealth is accumulated by taking a long-term focus and sticking to the plan, and shorter-term reactions, whether it's out of fear or greed or just instinctive reacting to noise without a plan behind it, typically destroys wealth. It doesn't build wealth.
And you say time, not timing, actually builds wealth.
The market in the long run
Willie's story was more
easy thing to see looking back over.
We protect everything, for the most part, online with a username and a password. And this is really where there's so much information about us. And having a YubiKey allows you to really put
long-term.
Is it from you,
Somebody say that's the sound of a man working on the tank. Yeah, that's the sound of a man working on the tank.
Chipping the same thing.
That's the sound of a man working on the tank. Yeah,
Chipping rods.
that's the sound of a man working on the tank.
You ain't even noticing that. What are all these kids these days? They're all chain gangs.
With the nylons from Queen Street and a nice cover of Sam Cooke's Chain Gang here on Zoomer Radio. Hey, you'll be listening to Zoomer Radio all week long in Libby's Fight Back show. There is word that the restrictions on the lockdown will be eased. The Premier, Doug Ford, is going to make an announcement sometime over the next couple of days, and he's expected to announce some easing of those restrictions and the restart of work for many. He says, we're seeing the numbers go down, and we're moving forward with reopening the economy. So stay tuned to Zoomer Radio. We'll tell you all about that over the next few days. More great music over the next few minutes with the Pointer Sisters, Emotions, and Diana Ross, all in the next set here on Saturday Night Bandstand.
Hi, I'm Sherry Tabb, co-founder of the Trippz Eye Institute. Thank you for the wonderful things you're saying and posting and sharing about our safety, our staff, and our surgeons. Our people inspire me. Let them inspire you to free yourself.
Fuck off. I don't like your clinic. Tis the season for easy home cooking. I don't know how this is. $100 up. You got to buy a whole bunch of shit to get that. You don't get no $100 for free. Bullshit. Not even looking. Healthy home cooked meals in 15 to 30 minutes. Hold on. You choose, we deliver, you cook. Under you cook. Healthy home cooked meals in 15 to 30 minutes. Fuck up. Fresh pre-portioned ingredients. No thanks. To your door. Get the fuck out of here. There's a picture of like fresh vegetables on a fucking cutting board. That's the last thing I want.
Shell.ca/taking care. Terms and conditions apply.
Where the fuck did I
Need
get
a doctor to renew your prescription? You can't get in to see your own? Speak with an experienced doctor online or on the phone. Renew your prescription and have it sent to your local pharmacy.
Receive $40 off when you order first and second boxes, and an additional $20 each.
Body Stream Medical. Canada's
And an additional $20 off when you order your third
Visit
box.
online at bodystreammedical.ca.
What is it? You know this weird dummy shit is?
The doctor will see you now.
Some company out there specializes.
Zoomer Radio, the original greatest hits. This is Saturday Night Bandstand.
680 News
Time for traffic and weather together all at once. Here's Colette Desjardins.
Speak to us at
And this traffic report is brought to you by Lexus of Oakville. Last check on the eastbound QEW, just east of Burloak, we had a crash blocking the right lane. Emergency crews were there. And of course, it was not blocking or wasn't delaying any traffic. If you're on the eastbound 401, the express ramp to the northbound 400, the left lane was blocked all because of a stalled vehicle, but you had access to that ramp. On the westbound 401, we've got construction work at the Allen. So right now in the express, the right lane is closed. In the collectors, 2 left lanes are shut down, and they've shut down the Allen transfers from collector to express for all that work that's going to go on all night. Southbound Allen approaching the 401. We had a stalled tractor trailer blocking the right lane. MTO, of course, is aware of it. It wasn't causing a delay. Looking at city streets right now, we've got a problem. It's quite a serious crash. Northbound on Bayview approaching the 401. The right lane is blocked. Emergency crews are on the scene. Also, if you're traveling in Mount Albert, we still have that ongoing police investigation. Lanes are reduced at Vivian Creek Road at Ridge Gate Crescent, so it's blocked in that area for that police investigation. For a limited time, lease a 2021 NX 300 premium package at 1.9% for 39 months with bi-weekly payments from $208 and delivery credits up to $3,000. Your next traffic report is at 11:41, but right now, let's get the forecast. Jason Frazier.
It's going to be a cold night, and we're going to see temperatures dipping way below the freezing mark. I'm expecting wind chills to dip down anywhere between 15 to about 20 degrees, and we are expecting to see some cloud cover develop and possibly even some snow showers after the midnight hour. Our overnight air temperature tonight is -9 degrees.
And we're a little warmer than that right now. It's -6, feeling like -13 in downtown Toronto, and overcast as well. Out at Pearson International Airport, it's -8 and also overcast. 680 News Time, 11:33.
Breaking news from Scarborough, where a man has life-threatening injuries after a shooting at Shepherd Avenue East and Gateford Drive, just south of McLevin Avenue. Toronto Police Constable David Hopkinson says officers were called to the area just after 10:30 tonight for sounds of gunshots.
We had police officers who were very close by and got on scene very quickly in the rear of a parking lot. They've located a man suffering gunshot wounds who was unresponsive. His injuries definitely life-threatening.
And then 10 minutes later, a man walked into the emergency room in the city's East End with gunshot wounds.
His injuries are described as serious. It's unknown if the two incidents are connected, but officers are asking anyone with information on either incident to contact them as soon as possible. Stay with 680 News for more on this developing story.
680 News Time, 11:35. The province's police watchdog is investigating after York Regional Police were called to the scene of a stabbing in Mount Albert, just north of Newmarket. 680's Michelle Mackey tells us 2 people are dead, including the 37-year-old male suspect,
at each other,
and
and
3
both of them hit
others,
each other.
including an infant,
And neither
rushed to
one
hospital
dies.
with serious injuries.
York Regional Police
It's
confirm
been
a
all
woman
packed
is
for the
dead and
video.
say a male suspect was shot and killed by an officer during an interaction at a home on Ridgegate Crescent in Mount Albert.
We have an additional adult female who was taken to hospital with injuries, as well as what I'm told was a young child and an infant. And they were all taken to hospital. I don't have an update on the extent of their injuries.
Before police arrived at the quiet residential street around 2:30 p.m., a neighbor describes the chaotic scene she saw play out on their front lawn.
And I heard him say, "I need help." And the lady says, "Don't go." She was in her truck. She said, "Don't go. He has a knife." But I said he needs help. So I just shouted to the man, "Help is on the way."
The Special Investigations Unit, the province's police watchdog, has now taken over the investigation. I'm Michelle Mackey.
And Toronto police are providing more information on a deadly shooting last Sunday that killed a 20-year-old man in the Jane and 401 area. They say 20-year-old Hashimo Marhachi was returning home from dinner with friends when he was approached by at least 2 suspects in a vehicle. One of them got out of the car and opened fire on Hashi. Detective Sergeant Ted Leomanis says investigators are trying to understand the motive.
What I do want to get out to the media today is that Mr. Hashi was not involved in any gang activity, nor was he involved in any gang affiliation. Mr. Hashi was a student studying accounting and worked part-time at the airport. He had a promising future, and he was a very well respected young man.
In an effort to address violence in North York, police say they are increasing patrols in the area and have ongoing dialogue with housing partners in the community. Anyone with information is asked to contact police or Crime Stoppers.
680 News Time, 11:37. Only 3 weeks after we hit 700,000 total COVID-19 cases in Canada, today we've come in with another 100,000. Federal government data showing our current case count at 801,057. National count was led by daily reports from Quebec and Ontario.
New infections, though, have slowed down since then, but health officials advise the emergence of new virus variants means we must continue following protective measures to contain the spread.
Heading overseas now, where the European Union's hardest hit country now leads the way for vaccines in the Union, except for older people.
After overcoming vaccine supply problems, 1 million Italians have now been vaccinated, more than any other EU country. But Italy has been slow in getting them to the over 80s because so few older people here are in assisted living. COVID data expert Matteo Villa.
I mean, clearly, many more older people in Italy stay at home or are cared by their households. So it's harder to reach out.
Some 7 million, or about 12% of Italians, are expected to be fully vaccinated by the end of March. Megan Williams, ABC News.
Well, 680 News time, 11:38.
Recommending France. They're not going to take